Game 2 of our doubleheader, Illinois Tech versus Aurora here. Michael Paxson with a quick ground out to begin the bottom of the first. Chris Rouse here with David Cooper as Tyler Gutsfeld now steps into the box for the Scarlet Hawks. So quick work of Paxson, who had the home run for Illinois Tech in Game 1. And now he'll step into the box. Well, Gutsfeld will step into the box, and Gutsfeld with a rifle right back up the middle at Connor Hogan. And Gutsfeld will get on safely here in the bottom half of the first inning with a nice rifle up the middle. And that'll put Luke Yaknit in the box now, the starting left fielder for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks coming to the box.
Good piece of hitting there by Guts, just able to shoot it back up the middle. Ball in on his hands, able to keep his hands inside, get the barrel out.
Here's Connor Hogan, his delivery. Yaknin hits one out to left field. That's got a good drive on it. Both fielders in pursuit, and a nice catch in center field by Dominic Curcio as he was able to run it down and make it going against the wind here at Ed Glancy Field.
Stole a double from Luke Yaknin. Tremendous effort out there by the center fielder. That's probably scoring Guts from first base if that ball gets down.
Instead, it's out number 2, and now to bring Phillip Bentz to the plate. Bentz had the only hit for Illinois Tech for the majority of Game 1 when he's got a single back in the second inning. Takes a strike here from Connor Hogan. Hogan taking a long look at his watch over there. Tries to get the pitch. It's Hogan working with Logan Riley. Riley started as the catcher in Game 1 for the Aurora Spartans, and now Hogan will check over. Happy April 15th. Happy Jackie Robinson Day for all the baseball fans around the world. Jackie Robinson Day of course, where in Major League Baseball, the teams have the players that wear just number 42. As now here's a foul ball. That one going over the Scarlet Hawks dugout.
I always wish we did Jackie Robinson Day in college. That'd be fun.
I would like to see it at the collegiate level as well. I just feel like maybe the pricing of getting a number of 42.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's just the practicality. As now here is a foul ball back there by Bentz. And it's an 0-2 count. Jonah Wilkes in the on-deck circle for Illinois Tech, hoping Bentz can extend the inning here. The 0-2 coming from Connor Hogan. The delivery. Up and away, he missed it. In Game 1, that's where Justin Zimmerman, the starter for Aurora, was working. Very comfortable working on that upper part of the corner. He got a number of strikeouts, but Hogan, nothing doing there. Chopper up the middle. The hit to short. The throw across the infield in time as Aurora gets out of the inning. So Bentz grounds out to short to end the inning. Spartans coming back to the plate, top of the second, when we return to Ed Glancy Field after this break. Top of the second, Aurora coming back to the plate. It'll be the 5, 6, 7 hitters here for the Spartans. They'll go with their new designated hitter, Nick Zarnecki, who did not hit in Game 1, did not play at all in Game 1. Now here he is in the box. He'll be the designated hitter in Game 2. The senior out of Flemington, New Jersey, stepping into the box. Alejandro Garcia, second inning of work for Illinois Tech. And he gets Zarnecki to pop that one straight into the air. Paxson camps underneath it. Good play for Paxson. So Zarnecki gets underneath it, blooped it right to Michael Paxson. Easy play for Paxson, who's out there at third base again in Game 2.
Quick out there for Gary. That's something you want to see the Illinois Tech pitching staff turn it around a little bit this game. Get some quick outs to these innings, throw up some zeros. Good job in the first, and a good start here so far in the second.
Good job by Garcia as he works inside, or works away to Logan Riley. Riley was the catcher in Game 1, the starting catcher, and then he was relieved of his duties by Brody Mack in the last 2 innings. So that likely was a rest for Riley to get him ready for Game 2. Garcia, long look inside from Logan Riley, who pops it straight up to the first baseman. Matthew Washington, the second baseman, will now come to the plate for Aurora. 2 away here in the second. So far, if you're just joining us, 1 hit for each side. Lukancic with a hit in the top of the first for Aurora. Gutsfeld with a hit in the bottom of the first for Illinois Tech. Garcia with 2 quick outs here in the second. Wind starting to pick up here at Ed Glancy Field. Thought maybe Game 1, I thought we were having problems with the wind. It's actually getting worse here in Game 2.
It always seems to do that.
Now Washington, good eye by Washington as he takes ball 2 on the outside corner, 2-0. Washington actually struggled in Game 1. He flew out, he struck out, he had a pair of fielder's choices, but he also did have a double at one point in Game 1.
A little flash of power off the right field fence.
Gets underneath one here and fouls it off to make it 2-1. That right field fence, we saw quite a few plays over in right field early on in Game 1, and then as the game progressed, balls played more to left center for both teams. Here's Washington, awaiting the 2-1 from Garcia. The delivery bounces in the dirt inside for ball 3.
Yeah, I talked about, the short porch in right field at the very beginning of the game, and we've seen a lot of lefties take advantage of that so far from both sides. Guy that took advantage of it the most, however, was the righty, Michael Paxson, last game, just shooting an oppo laser over the right field fence.
Paxson had a home run, his 4th of the season for Illinois Tech. Meanwhile, Matthew Washington thought he was about to chuck the bat and go to first, but instead he'll see one more pitch on a 3-2 payoff. Garcia with a chance to get the Scarlet Hawks back into the dugout and back into the box. If he can get Washington down here, the 3-2 payoff, 2 away here in the second. Here's the delivery. Missed outside, ball 4. Washington works the walk, and that'll extend the inning for the third baseman, Braden Gorecki, who also started for Aurora in Game 1 in the same exact spot. We saw Gorecki was actually replaced late in the game as a defensive substitution. He'll start Game 2 here, and he'll start at the plate with a man on first. Garcia, long look inside. Missed at the knees for ball 1.
Yeah, Gorecki also didn't fare the best at the plate. 0 for 3 on the day. Did have a hit by pitch coming around the score in the second inning, however, and then was later subbed out for Wendler in the field in the bottom of that 7th inning to round out the Game 1.
Right, Aurora we saw bring in about 5 or 6 different guys as really just defensive replacements. There were about 3 of them that didn't hit, 3 that did. And now it's Gorecki back in the box, starting here in Game 2. 1-1 count, facing Garcia. Ball misses low and in. That one looked like it almost got away from Juan. Good job by Lucas Juan to stop it.
Now, if you're going to compare Alec Weedman, who was the last pitcher that we saw for Illinois Tech, and Alejandro Garcia here, those two different pitchers, one's a lot easier to catch, and Weedman can have a lot of those harder pitches that are way harder to block.
There's a chopper from Gurecki. It gets past the first baseman, Wilkes, into the outfield, and now runners on the corners for Aurora here in the second, as now it's Spencer Rook coming to the plate, the shortstop for Aurora.
Yeah, Gurecki gets his first hit of the day on just a high chopper that bounced right over Jonah into right field. It wasn't hit all that well. It looked like a routine play off the bat, just took a bump and out in the right field it goes.
I'm with you. I thought Wilkes was going to make that play off that hop, but it just out of reach. Bit of a funny high hop over his head. And now the inning continues for Spencer Rook. Pitch to Rook, misses outside for ball one.
Gurecki is 2 for 2 in stolen base opportunities so far this year, so hasn't stolen a ton of bags to date. But this is a running situation here with 2 outs, first and third.
We did see Aurora with plenty of plays in game one where they tried to steal. Here's a steal opportunity. They looked like they caught him in a rundown to throw to second. After all, they get him. And actually, no, they're going to say he's safe as he's able to slide in just underneath. Well, it looked like it should have been a tag from Bovey. It's a tough play, and now Ryan Cantlin's going to come out and have some words with that Illinois Tech defense, and, of course, with Alejandro Garcia. It appeared as if Gurecki should have been dead to right out there. He got caught in the rundown, but the throw over, just not in time, no tag.
Yeah, that was intentional. It's called the start and stop play, where the runner will steal from first base and then try and intentionally get in a rundown to allow the runner from third to score. However, the Illinois Tech defense kind of froze, and everybody just looked at each other for a minute there, and then Gurecki eventually just decided to head into second, getting under the tag from Bovey. No advancement from third base in Washington. Wasn't super interested in scoring there. It play didn't go as well, so you just head back to third base, and now you're in a good spot, second and third, 2 outs.
It's a 2-0 count now to Rook, who could, if he gets the pitch he wants, could score that runner himself. Instead, he'll foul the ball off to 31st Street here on the south side. 2-1 count to the starting shortstop for the Aurora Spartans. Let's see if Alejandro Garcia can dial up the right pitch to get out of this inning and get out of this early second inning jam. Second and third, 2 away, the 2-1. Outside corner, missed by Garcia, 3-1.
Rook picked up his first single on the day in his 5th AB to round off the 7th inning for the Aurora Spartans. Otherwise, he was 1 for 4, He also reached on an error.
Came around to score. He was run number 16 of those 18 for Aurora. Rook hits this one to short, scooped up by Bovey. Bovey across the infield, gets him in time, and Illinois Tech gets out of the early top of the second jam. We remain scoreless. Scarlet Hawks getting ready to come to bat for the second time here in game 2. Bottom of the second on the other side of this break here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. 5, 6, 7 hitters in the bottom of the second for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. Here with David Cooper, I'm Chris Rouse. It'll be Jonah Wilkes, Matthew Bovey, and Lucas Wan leading it off here for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks as they go up against Connor Hogan here in the bottom of the second inning. Aurora, no runs, 2 hits, no errors to this point of the game. Illinois Tech, 1 hit in their previous trip to the plate. Wilkes shows bunt. That ball gets away, ball 1 to Jonah Wilkes. Wilkes, the first baseman here, much as he was in game 1 for Illinois Tech. Reprising his same role. And now he takes a ball high, make it a 2-0 count. The Illinois Tech's dugout with words of encouragement here for Jonah Wilkes as he steps into the box facing a 2-0 count. Taking all the way as he takes strike 1 down the middle.
Yeah, dugout was really excited about those fake bunts there.
And Wilkes watches the 2-1. It gets away from him. You can hear him saying they didn't know what he was going to do. I wouldn't know if they were referring to the pitch or if he was going to be selective at the plate.
I think they all knew that he wasn't actually going to bunt it, and he was just trying to mess with Hogan out there.
Now the 3-1 from Wilkes is fouled off the netting right in front of us. Bovey runs it down. And now 3-2 count. Jonah Wilkes and a 3-2 payoff here early in the bottom of the second. See if Wilkes can get on here. Oh, he strikes out looking, and Wilkes knew it immediately as he took that one on the inside corner, and Wilkes will go down on strikes looking.
That'll be the first strikeout for Hogan and be his 38th on the season. We haven't told you his season statistics quite yet, but they are phenomenal.
Connor Hogan just dialing it up this season for the Aurora Spartans. Now he'll face Bovey, and Bovey takes the pitch.
Yeah, on that note, Hogan threw 50 innings pitched this year, only let up 38 hits, 6 earned runs on 8 walks and 38 strikeouts to the tune of a 1.08 ERA. And this is a stat I don't usually recite, but he has a whip of 0.92. And for those listeners that don't know what the whip statistic is for pitching, it stands for walks and hits per innings pitched. And basically anything at 1 or lower is considered elite, meaning that you're only allowing 1 base runner per inning, and he's sitting at a 0.92.
Very interesting to see that whip stat with a 0.92 to start it out as Bovey goes down on strikes, trying to catch up to that fastball up in the zone. Bovey couldn't quite lay off the high one there. He tried to chase it, came up empty, and now Hogan threatening to strike out the side here as he faces the catcher Lucas Wan.
Yeah, seems to have a similar game plan to Zimmerman that we saw last time, where that to go to the strikeout pitch, they're going to try and elevate that fastball and get the Illinois Tech hitters to swing under it.
Lucas Wan in an 0-1 count, awaiting the delivery from Hogan to the catcher Logan Riley. Here it is. Wan watches that one bounce in the dirt, 1-1. If Wan were to advance the inning for Illinois Tech, Timmy Old is on deck. Old did not start in game 1. He replaces Tanner Jenkins for the start here in game 2. And now the ball gets away from Wan's positional counterpart, the catcher Logan Riley, and it'll be a 2-1 count. So Wan faced his numerical counterpart, Zimmerman, who had number 18 in game 1 for Aurora. And now he fouls this one off, and it'll be a 2-2 count.
Yep, Tardy on that fastball. It's another fastball high in the zone, trying to get Lucas to swing and miss. Did a good job of getting to it, but not quite on time. See if they try and slow him down here with a breaking ball now.
The 2-2 to Lucas Wan. Wan able to catch up to that one, but he fouls it off to the left side of Ed Glancy Field. Wan stepping back into the box. Lucas Wan in game 1. We saw him knock down a number of balls late at the end of that game. Wan went 0 for 3 in game 1, and he strikes out here as Connor Hogan strikes out the side. Wilkes looking, Bovey swinging, and Wan goes down looking as well. And that's 3 up, 3 down, striking out the side. Connor Hogan keeps us scoreless as we head into the top of the third. Spartans coming back to the plate on the other side of this break on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Top of the order back at the plate for the Aurora Spartans as we get ready to begin the top of the third. It'll be Jaden Holgado to lead off here for the Spartans. He popped out to short to begin the game. And he'll try to have a better result this time for the Spartans as he goes up against Alejandro Garcia the second time to start the second time through the order for the Aurora Spartans. Illinois Tech in that home second. 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts as Connor Hogan struck out the side. Let's see how Garcia responds for Illinois Tech. He responds by throwing a first pitch strike to Holgado.
Get that front hip slider in there for strike one. Good way to start it off. Aurora hasn't done much against Gary to this point. Only 2 singles, and Gary gave up 1 walk. Otherwise, the rest of the lineup going pretty quietly.
There's Holgado who hits one up the middle. Bovey just a little too far to his left of second base. And Holgado found the hole, poked it right up through the middle for a base hit. Good piece of hitting.
Now batting number 26,
great piece of hitting, and that'll be interesting to see. Gary's usually in a reliever role. He's had a couple more extended outings. Like I mentioned, he had 1 start earlier in the year, but he's really specialized in getting through the order one time and getting everybody out. So that's something to keep an eye on here as he goes through the order for the second time. He's able to mix things up and how he's able to keep the Aurora offense at bay.
And now he'll see Joe Lukancic, but not before he checks over on Holgado over at first. Lukancic certainly had an impactful game 1. He and Curcio. So this is the part of the order that will be key for Garcia in the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks in terms of trying to control Aurora's output offensively. Lukancic hits it right back to Garcia. Nice hang time for Garcia, but the throw took a hop to first just in time to get the out. Aurora is arguing that maybe the play was not made in time.
I think they're arguing that when Jonah picked it, his foot was not on the base, which is what I saw. I don't know if the field ump could tell that. We'll see if.
So they're going to have a meeting of the minds out on the field, are the 2 umpires, and they are going to overturn it, and the runner is indeed safe. So Lukancic legs it out as Wilkes did come off the bag, and that'll move Holgado over to second.
He was in motion anyway. That was a hit and run. Looked like that was on. Well executed hit and run there. You like when your hit and runs turn into runners on first and second, nobody out.
Especially for this guy in Curcio who reached base every time in game 1. Not so luckily his first at bat here in game 2 as he flew out to Gutsfield in center field. Curcio showing bunt. Juan able to knock the ball down. Both runners will advance, and Aurora now have runners on second and third with no one out here in the top of the third.
Just a slider that got in the dirt, and Lucas able to get a body in front of it, but deflected to his right behind the closer towards the batter. And we know that Holgado, the lead runner, is such a threat. We've already seen him have some good dirt ball reads so far today. Not surprising he's able to advance there.
Actually, yeah, both guys, Holgado and Curcio. We saw Holgado get a steal earlier, and then Holgado and Curcio both were able to take advantage of wild pitches in game 1 in advance to put runners in scoring position. Here's Curcio. And a 1-1 count against Garcia. The delivery from Garcia. Fouled off to the left side to make it a 1-2 count.
It's a good pitch there. This is the most that Curcio's seen of Gary so far. Swung on a first pitch fastball and flied out to center field his first time up. It's his first time getting to see the slider, getting to see Gary throw a couple different pitches here.
The 1-2 getting ready to come as Garcia, again, trying to work himself out of a second and third jam here. As now Illinois Tech will take the ball up, the ball go high for a 2-2 count. Runners on second and third. The lead runner, Holgado, at third, who can't extend and get second. As now Curcio just looking to find the pitch, the right pitch to put it into the outfield, or just put it in play to score the first runner of game 2. The 2-2. Curcio in the left field. Bovey gets there to knock the ball down. The throw across the infield, not in time. No one scores. No one advances. And Aurora will have the bases loaded for Kyle Mack. Bit of an infield single there. That one was just it got too much air, so it was slow getting to Bovey. And then when it got there, Bovey was at the back of the infield. That was going to be a tough throw. As a result, Curcio safe.
Yeah, he made a strong throw, just not able to beat him out. And a great play by Bovey, able to glove that one up and not let it go into the outfield. That rolls into the outfield, gets under his glove, scoring 2.
So Illinois Tech able to keep the game scoreless for the time being. Garcia's pitch in for a strike, working against Kyle Mack. Mack flew out to left field in the first inning. In the box for the second time here, working against Garcia. And it appears that Aurora, after that first time through, they've picked something up off of Garcia's. Now they have the bases loaded.
Definitely more aggressive. Haven't hit anything super hard yet, but able to find holes, leg it out.
Ball hit in the air to center field. Gutsfeld's going to have to make a tough throw to get this out at the plate. Here it is. Actually, Gutsfeld's not even going to go in that direction, so that's going to be an easy run scored for Holgado. Scored a sacrifice fly for Mack as Aurora opens the scoring here in game 2.
Zarnecki.
And that's the right decision there from Gutsfeld to throw that ball to third base, especially with no outs, because now you have one out and you still have your double play in order. He throws that ball all the way to the plate, and very easy for the runner on second base to advance to third.
And now Nick Zarnecki will step into the box. Zarnecki popped out to the third baseman to begin the second inning. Popped one right up to Paxton. But as Coop said, double play still in order here for Illinois Tech. Let's see if Garcia works for that. He gets strike 1, working against the Aurora designated hitter here in game 2. Zarnecki with the stirrup socks there. Waiting the delivery from Garcia.
This is Zarnecki's 6th start so far this year and his 15th appearance. He's batting .308 on the year. 8 hits through 26 ABs with a double and 1 run batted in. So a chance to double that RBI total. Maybe triple it with a double, you never know.
Let's see what Zarnecki can do here in a 1-1 against Alejandro Garcia. The delivery from Garcia. Zarnecki fouled that one back off of Juan's mask. May have caught a piece of the umpire as well. It's a 1-2.
Those will wake you up.
I'm sure. That's a ball to the face as you saw Juan's head sort of snap back there. Do you have a particular memory of maybe one of the worst you've ever taken?
Never off the helmet. The helmet has so much padding that it startles you, but it never hurts that bad. I've had a couple where you're going down to block a ball and just somehow it squeaks under your helmet, hits you right in the throat. Yeah, right in the voice box. Those are the worst. Yeah, you know, they teach you to keep your chin down so that doesn't happen, but you just forget sometimes. Always at the wrong time, too.
Trying to make that play, and sometimes the ball just sneaks through. Now Garcia in a 1-2 count. Trying to retire Zarnecki. Actually, he is able to do so. I thought maybe unable. The umpire would have been a delayed sign, but he does give him the strikeout looking for out number 2. So Alejandro Garcia keeping his composure here, because even in that bases loaded situation, he got the out to center field. It just happened to be a sacrifice fly. And now with 2 away, looking like he may get out of it here if he can retire Logan Riley. In game one, we mentioned how Illinois Tech wanted to avoid the big inning. Gutsfeld getting on his horse to go get that one. It's over his head. That's going to drop and easily score one. Should easily score two as we've got Curcio rounding third. The throw to third is away from the play. It'll be 3-0 Aurora Spartans as both Lukancic and Curcio score.
Matthew Washington.
RBI double for the Aurora Spartans is Logan Riley, who will keep the line moving for Matthew Washington.
I thought off the bat that was going to be a routine fly ball to Gutsfeld, and it just kept going. A lot of power behind it.
Gutsfeld was certainly on his horse. I thought he would get there, but at the last minute, the ball just went over the head, and it dropped down. You can see him sort of put his hat out there. He just had the glove out, and he sort of had the hat just fly off as he had the glove out. It looked like he was just trying to gauge where the ball was, but it was well over his head.
Yeah, something about outfielders, their hats always fly off whenever they run.
Especially on a windy day like this, I wouldn't expect anything else. Good effort from Gutsfeld, but not able to make the play. As now Matthew Washington back in the box, who drew a walk earlier. There's a pitch to Washington. Misses outside, makes it a 2-0 count.
Yeah, Washington was stranded at third last inning. Gary able to get out of a second and third jam.
You would think here for Illinois Tech that Garcia would love to get out of this inning and then at least have the bottom of the order up for Aurora. They've had their struggles today in both games, including Washington, but already past the point of no return in terms of facing him here in the third. 2-1 count to Matthew Washington, the starting second baseman for Aurora in both games today. Really struggled up until he got that hard hit double. Had a couple of fielder's choice outs in game one. But now he hits a grounder to second. That's an easy scoop. The throw to first in time to retire the side. But Aurora plates 3 in the third, and they claim the lead here in game two. Spartans lead at 3-0 following the 4-3 put away, heading into the home third. Right fielder Timmy Old stepping into the box here for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks as we get ready to begin the bottom of the third. Scarlet Hawks trailing the Aurora Spartans by a score of 3-0 here at Ed Glancy Field, following a 3-run third for the Aurora Spartans. Chris Rouse here with David Cooper as the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks look to try to salvage this doubleheader following an 18-3 loss in game one, but find themselves down 3-0, and now Old finds himself down 0-1 in this count against Connor Hogan. Pretty quick season here for NCAA Division III baseball. The season ending very early this year, I think that's first weekend of May this year, which very unusual. Usually ends about that second week, maybe midway through that second week of May. But not many more opportunities to see Illinois Tech here at home. I know they'll be taking on Concordia University of Chicago next week. And then they obviously take on St. Norbert on Saturday for Senior Day. 1-2 count to Timmy Old. Old having some words with the home plate umpire here. Could he be gauging the zone there?
I don't know. It wasn't close.
Here's the 1-2.
Tim's trying to record his first AB since March 22nd. I mentioned that during his pinch AB last game, but reached on a hit by pitch, so that goes down as a plate appearance, not an AB.
Old gets a piece of this one in the left center field. That ball is going to be run down by Curcio, and Curcio with his second strong play in the outfield, able to get the first out here on the bottom of the third.
Number 8, Mario Riccio.
Mario Riccio stepping into the box for Illinois Tech. This will be his first at-bat here in Game 2, and this is almost similar in Game 1. It took Riccio quite some time before he finally got to the plate. He hit for the first time in the third inning, but it felt like it was a while considering Aurora had those high-scoring early innings in Game 1. Hogan's pitch on the outside corner gets away from the catcher Riley for ball 1. You got the 8-9 one-hitters up here for Illinois Tech in the bottom of the third. We already saw Old fly out to center field. Now it'll be Riccio followed by Paxton. And now Riccio fires one off the netting right here in front of us at the table.
Yeah, Mario had a couple good swings in the last game, but nothing to show for it. Ground out to third base and a hard line drive out to left field. He did reach on a walk and come around to score.
Riccio and Jonah Wilkes were the only two players for Illinois Tech in Game 1 to avoid going down via the punch-out. As the Scarlet Hawks had a tough time with the starting pitcher Zimmerman of Aurora in Game 1, who had 12 strikeouts. Here in Game 2, it's a 1-2 count for Riccio. Already one away here in the bottom of the third. The delivery. Misses outside for Hogan. Makes it a 2-2 count. Michael Paxton is on deck. He had the home run for Illinois Tech in Game 1, his 4th of the season. It was also his 12th run batted in this year. Riccio hits it to second, and he grounds out to Washington. That's the golden out as you get the second baseman grounding out to the second baseman.
Hit it to your counterpart.
Exactly, for out number 2.
Michael Paxton.
So Michael Paxton will come up with 2 away here. And let's see if Paxton can get Illinois Tech going. He certainly hit that home run, a line drive to right field. He got out of here in a hurry in Game 1. This one, he gets underneath it. That's going over our heads here and over to 31st Street here at Ed Glancy Field.
Yeah, besides that home run, Paxton hasn't done much today. 1 for 5 with the home run being the hit, obviously, and then 3 strikeouts in that first game against Zimmerman and Ray in combination.
Paxton hits one to short. This is scooped up and quick work for the Aurora Spartans as Rook throws Paxton out at first. 3 up, 3 down for Illinois Tech here in the bottom of the third. Aurora coming back to bat, top of the 4th on the other side of this break here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network after this. top of the fourth at Ed Glancy Field.
Batting number 11.
Aurora Spartans with a
Braden
3-0 advantage, looking to add on here in the top of the fourth. It'll be the bottom of the order, the 8-9-1 hitters. It'll be Gurecki, Rook, and then it'll be Hogato when the lineup turns over for the Spartans here in the fourth. Braden Gurecki singled earlier in the game, and then was later stranded at second base. The delivery from Garcia. In the dirt, he got the swing and the miss, though, from Gurecki.
Changeup, disgusting. Got an offer from Gurecki. Thought it was a fastball and fooled him.
And you can see Gurecki sort of tapped his helmet after he swung and missed at that pitch. And let's see how he adjusts here to the 0-1 count. The delivery from Garcia. In for a strike. That's strike two. Aurora, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Illinois Tech, no runs, 1 hit, no errors to this point of the game. The 1 hit for Illinois Tech, Tyler Gutsfeld in the first. Garcia, Ian Juan, again, those long looks in from Garcia. The delivery. The ball is hit well out to right field. That's going back to the wall, and that is well over the head of Timmy Old for a home run. Out of here, courtesy of Braden Gurecki. And he'll make it 4-0. Aurora Spartans, our second home run today. First, Michael Paxton for Illinois Tech in game 1. Braden Gurecki for Aurora here in game 2. Just a well-struck ball by Gurecki. The perfect drive. He got under it. He sent it. Every type of analogy you want to use for he perfectly drove out of here. He certainly did as he sends that one to the right field wall. And that looks like it'll end game 2 for Alejandro Garcia, who had done a pretty good job in terms of keeping Aurora in check through that first time through the lineup.
Yeah, there's a couple mistake pitches that Aurora punished. That double from the catcher Riley that plated 2, and then a leadoff home run here. That's, you take away those 2 hard hit balls, 2 mistakes, and we still got a 1-0 ball game.
Third home run of the season for Gurecki. We also see a pitching change here for Illinois Tech. Now will come into the game will be John Gorey. We'll get more on Gorey after this break. Gorey's going to warm up, and when we return, he'll take the bump for the Scarlet Hawks here at Ed Glancy Field. Illinois Tech with a pitching change here in the fourth. It'll be John Gorey taking the bump here as he'll go up against Spencer Rook. David, what can you tell us about John Gorey here for Illinois Tech?
John Gorey, if you've been with us for some of these home games and you've seen him throw, you know that he throws a mean fastball and a mean curveball, and the stats reflect that. Through 16 1/3, Gorey's let up 15 hits, only 4 earned runs in that time, 9 walks and 17 Ks to the tune of a 2.2 ERA, one of the best on the team. So he's come in both a starting and a middle relief and a closing role just about any time that Ed Ziefert needs him, and now's the time for him to come in and stop the bleeding a little bit as the Aurora Spartans got to Alejandro Garcia the second time through the order.
Braden Gorecki with his 4th home run of the season. Got out of here in a hurry, but honestly, when I saw it hit I thought maybe it might be a lazy fly to right. That thing continued to carry well out of Ed Glancy Field. Grounded to third, not in time on the throw across the infield from Paxton. And as a result, Rook is safe. And the line continues to move for the Spartans. Not only does the line move, the lineup turns over for Aurora, which has been the problem for Illinois Tech today. It'll be Jaden Holgado coming to the plate. It's been really the trio of Holgado, Lukancic, and Curcio that Illinois Tech has just had all sorts of problems with here going up against Aurora in both games.
Yeah, that trio scored the first 3 runs for the Aurora Spartans in the 3rd inning, and all 3 of them singled back to back to back to get it started, and then later drove in by the middle of the order.
Station to station working for Aurora. Considering that's interesting, considering they didn't really go station to station in game 1. They poured it on early. Here in game 2, maybe a slower pace to the plate, but they are finding their way home after all. The 1-1 from Gorey as he keeps an eye on the runner at first in Rook. Rook took an interesting lead. Holgado able to move out of the way. That was some heat from Gorey.
Yeah, Rook's looking a little bit jumpy over there. First base. See if they're going to try and get him into scoring position for Holgado here.
So 2-1. Gorey keeping his eye on Rook. Ball misses high out of the zone to Holgado, and that'll make it a 3-1 count.
You know, when Gorey misses with the fastball, it's usually upstairs. Trying to put a little bit too much steam on it.
The 3-1. Gorey throws it in. That ball fouled away by Holgado, and we'll see a 3-2 payoff coming up right here. Let's see if Illinois Tech can get that first out here in the top of the 4th.
Saw him dial it in back right there. Took a couple miles per hour off maybe just to get it back in the zone. 3-1. Give himself a full count.
He's going to try to get the put away. The runner goes. Rook is safe as Gorey just knocks that one down. And now the ball gets away from the infield, and that'll allow Rook actually to advance to third. Gorey was just trying to catch it out of the air. Instead, he deflected it, and it went out into right center field, allowing Rook to advance to third safely.
Number 26, Joe Lukancic.
Just an unfortunate error there for Illinois Tech as Gorey got a hand on the ball and just when he made contact, just hit it way into the outfield.
Not really sure what Gorey was thinking there. If it was ball 4, so there was no reason for Lucas to throw it down. So I wonder if he was just trying to get it out of the air and he knew that, or if he didn't know.
I think Gorey was aware of the situation that it was ball 4, and when he saw the throw, he thought maybe it was coming back, just throwing back to the pitcher.
Yeah, that was a lot of steam.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was just one of those situations where somebody misread the situation and it led to the mishap. Ball goes inside. The throw to second is not in time. The runner does not score, but it does put 2 runners in scoring position for Aurora with Lukancic back at the plate.
So we're right in the middle of that trio that you're talking about. Holgado just got on with a walk, moves over to second base with a stolen base. Now we got Lukancic and Curcio. Both have done a ton of damage today. John Gorey's got his work cut out for him here with no outs.
He gets strike 1 here. And if you're an Aurora fan, you have to like what the 8-9 hitters have done for you already in this inning. Gorecki with the homer. And then, of course, Rook is on base via the single, and now he's standing 90 feet from extending the lead for the Spartans. The 2-1. Swing and a miss from Lukancic. 2-2.
There's that Chetta up and in on the hands. We talked about how Lukancic kind of stands over the plate. His hands before he swings are almost directly over the middle of the plate. So if John can continue to throw strikes right at his hands, it's going to be very difficult for him to hit that.
The 2-2. That one misses high. Almost got away from Juan. Good catch by Juan.
That was a little above the hands.
Also, we saw Rook started towards home plate. I think that Juan making that catch was key. He was ready to come in. But now it's a 3-2. Gorey is delivery to Lukancic. Missed him. 4-2 on the walk. 4-0 advantage for Aurora.
Now batting number 20, Dominic Curcio.
So now it'll be Curcio comes to the plate. And Curcio already singled and then later came around to score. He was run number 3 for Aurora here in game 2. Reached space safely 6 times in game 1. He flew out his first time here, 1 for 2 here in game 2. Gorey and Juan having a meeting of the minds out there on the mound for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. As now Illinois Tech really just trying to settle in here in the top of the 4th. But this is probably the worst part of the order to try to do it against based off what we've seen so far from Aurora with Hogato, Lukancic, and Curcio. Gorey with the delivery. That one gets away from Juan, but it bounces almost right back to the plate, so that'll keep Rook from scoring. As it'll be ball 1 to Curcio. See, John Gorey immediately looked over at Coach Ed Ziefert, almost to say, settle down. That was on me. Maybe just let that one go. But Coach Ziefert looks like he's headed to the pen, maybe to get some guys going behind Gorey.
Yeah, I think that was a cross-up. I don't think Lucas was expecting a fastball there.
Gorey hits the outside corner for a strike. Curcio having some words with the home plate umpire. Just trying to understand where's the count. It's going to be 1-1 to the starting center fielder for the Aurora Spartans. The delivery. Curcio gets underneath this one in the left center field. That's going to be a tough play. Yaknin, and it gets into that Bermuda Triangle, as you called it in game 1, and it drops. That's going to allow Aurora to score. Rook comes home, and he'll make it 5-0 as he crosses the plate.
I couldn't tell if Bovey got a glove on it. Looked like Bovey almost got a glove on it running straight backwards. Just wasn't quite able to bring it in. It's a really tough play for him over the shoulder, if so. I don't think Luke Yaknin was playing in enough to really be able to come in and get that.
Also, we saw Gutsfeld converge as well. Just all 3 guys either too far or just too far for all 3. And it was also a tough play, as you said, for Bovey over his shoulder. That's similar to the hit we saw over Gutsfeld's head earlier. As now we get Kyle Mack into the box for the Aurora Spartans, and he takes strike 1. Mack 0 for 1. He flew out to left field in the first, and then he hit a sacrifice fly. And that later scored Holgado. That was how Aurora opened their scoring here in game 2. Mack hits a chopper to Paxton. It gets through, and that'll allow one runner to score. Bovey with a good job recovering to get the ball. And I think he may have gotten the man at third. He did, as he caught it. It appeared he caught Lukancic rounding third. Lukancic was really trying to stop his momentum. His momentum carried him off the bag, and he sort of fell in his effort to try to get back. Bovey tagged him out. So that's going to record the first out of the inning, but it is a 6-0 Aurora lead. So Paxton was unable to handle the grounder than him, but Bovey, luckily on the backup recovery, makes the play. Ball hit in the left field by Zarnecki. Yaknin gets underneath it for out number 2.
Batting number 12.
A lot of action here. You don't usually see John Gorey, especially John Gorey's fastball, turned around and put in play this much. He generates a lot of swing and miss, but Aurora's not threatened or intimidated at the moment.
You think
from
maybe
that fastball?
You think maybe they're sitting fastball, knowing the reputation of Gorey's heat?
Oh, sure looks like it to me. It looks like they're on time. They're ready to hit it. They're putting it in play.
Because you can see on some of these pitches where we've seen change-ups and breaking balls, they've looked confused. And we even saw a few batters swinging in the dirt early on in the game. Now that they've realized it's more of a fastball game, it seems like that may be what the Spartans are looking for, as Gorey misses outside here.
Yeah, I haven't seen very many curveballs from Gorey up to this point. He does have a very good curveball, but mostly fastballs so far.
Runners on first and second with 2 away. Gorey's delivery, that's fouled off the foot by Logan Riley. Riley going to walk that one off just a little bit. You can see him sort of smarting as he's looking at him as he's getting ready to walk back into the box. He said, I'm doing fine, but definitely shows some pain for a brief moment there. 2-1. Gorey takes a long look at the man on second, and he misses high for 3-1. Logan Riley. He's got Curcio sitting out at second. He's got Mack over there at first. See if Riley can add on to this Aurora lead. They already lead at 6-0 here in the top of the fourth. Gorey gets over for 3-2.
He's working behind a lot in the count here. That also doesn't help with the being on time for the fastball problem. Once you've shown it a handful of times to a hitter, they're more prepared for it. And then if you come back later and account with a strike, more ready to hit it.
The 3-2 to runners go. That one hit well over our heads at the table, and that's going to go foul. And it'll stay inside the confines of Ed Glancy Field. And another 3-2 coming from Gorey. Logan Riley looking to bring another run in for the Spartans. Gorey with another long look at Curcio. He gets the ground ball. Good fielding by Gorey. He'll roll that one over to first and an easy third out of the inning. But Aurora adding 3 to their lead. They've doubled it up. It's now 6-0 Aurora Spartans. Scarlet Hawks coming back to the plate in the bottom of the fourth. After this, here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Bottom of the fourth inning here at Ed Glancy Field. Illinois Tech down 6-0. Scarlet Hawks, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error to this point of the game. And here comes the man that has the 1 hit. Tyler Gutsfeld had a single back in the first. Now here he is back in the bottom of the fourth for his second at-bat of the game. It'll be the 2, 3, 4 hitters for Illinois Tech. Gutsfeld, Yaknin, and Bench leading off here in the bottom of the fourth. And Gutsfeld with a hearty cut there on the delivery from Connor Hogan comes up empty for strike one. Chris Rouse and David Cooper sitting here behind home plate at Ed Glancy Field as Gutsfeld awaits the pitch from Hogan, and Gutsfeld shoots one in the right field for a base hit. So Gutsfeld with his second hit of the game, reaching safely here to start it off in the bottom of the fourth.
That's good to see. Guts had an uncharacteristic game one, going 0 for 3. You don't usually see that out of Tyler Gutsfeld. 2 for 2 here in this one to right the ship a little bit, giving Scarlet Hawks a little bit of offense.
And Gutsfeld, the team leader in home runs entering the day with 8 on the season. Paxton is the only Scarlet Hawk to go yard today, but now here's Luke Yaknin at the plate. Yaknin flew out to center field his first time up. That was actually the great play by Dominic Curcio back in the bottom of the first inning. See if Illinois Tech can try to move Gutsfeld over, at least try to get him in scoring position. Want to try to hang around with this Aurora team. Aurora has shown that they could put up runs in bunches today. So now Gutsfeld advances to second, and he'll get there safely. Tough play for Logan Riley. So Gutsfeld advances. Illinois Tech, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. That 1 error was scored on John Gorey. That allowed a runner advance when he was trying to, it was actually a pitch that was a walk, and he tried to knock the ball down. And The ball ended up going to the outfield, allowing a runner to advance. Here's a strike. As Illinois Tech with a 2-1 count to Yaknin.
We've seen a lot of offerings, at least initially, in terms of Illinois Tech hitters getting ready to bunt, but all of them have been pulled back.
Gutsfeld may have been caught leaning, and he is caught leaning. Good job by Hogan. Perfect turnaround. Spencer Rook even pointed right at him. Great play as Rook gets Gutsfeld for the out. And just a tough break for Illinois Tech, as that would have negated a possible rally opportunity for the Scarlet Hawks by getting out the lead runner.
Yeah, tough break there. First base coach Brady Roberts was yelling back, but a little bit too late as the shortstop started to break and Guts was already taking some steps towards third base. He was getting ready to go. Good daylight play from the Aurora Spartans defense.
The 2-2 to Yaknin. Strikes him out on the outside corner. And just an unfortunate set of circumstances for Illinois Tech. Gutsfeld, to your point about what you were saying about Gutsfeld, when the pickoff attempt was made, he had just started leaning towards the third base bag, so it was an easy tag for Rook. And then now Yaknin, he goes down looking, and Illinois Tech went from possibly having a rally to just trying to salvage something here in this inning, and that ball's going to be fouled off by Bentz. Bentz had the first hit of the game for Illinois Tech in game one. That was back in the bottom of the second in game one.
Yep.
Here in game two, he grounded out to short his first time up. And now he's down 0-2 against Connor Hogan, who's looking to make short work of the Scarlet Hawks for the second time today. Hogan had a 3-up, 3-down inning where he struck out the side in the second. Won't do that here, but he could retire him in order. Bentz hits it to short. Tough play for Rook, and that's going to allow Bentz to make it safely. I think maybe the hand-eye coordination for Rook was thrown off by Gorecki, who ran in front as if he was going to grab it. And I can see them out there talking out on that left side of the infield. I think Rook thought Gorecki was going to make the play and vice versa.
A little bit of confusion. Those are tough plays. As a third baseman, they're just out of reach. You're not sure where your shortstop is behind you because you can't see them.
And just once again, maybe a miscommunication there for Aurora. They're still trying to figure it out. They've been talking ever since that play allowed Illinois Tech to extend the inning. Well, here's Jonah Wilkes trying to be the beneficiary of the mistake from Aurora in the field. That play was also scored a base hit for Bentz. So now he stands at first.
I think he did a good shot running it out anyway, even if it was fielded cleanly.
Now Wilkes gets underneath this one in the right field, and that'll be an easy play for Lucanic. And that'll end the inning after all. So Illinois Tech, they get an extra chance, but only to fly out to right field. Top of the fifth coming up for Aurora on the other side of this break. Spartans lead it 6-0 when we return to Chicago. Back here at Ed Glancy Field in Chicago, where the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks currently trail the Aurora Spartans 6-0. Getting ready to start the top of the fifth. Illinois Tech went down in the bottom of the fourth, and actually we're going to make a catching change here, where we'll now see number 32, Tom Kramer, behind the plate as he will replace Lucas Wan. And so now Kramer will catch for John Gorey as Aurora brings their 7, 8, 9 hitters to the plate with Matthew Washington, Braden Gorecki, and Spencer Rook.
So good first 2 innings for the Scarlet Hawks, putting up 2 zeros against Aurora. And then the last 2, Aurora's been able to put up 2 3 spots against the usually steady-handed Alejandro Garcia and John Gorey. So a little bit of shakiness from both of them. Aurora's been able to get a lot of balls in play, get a lot of hits, hit with a little bit of power in cases where they need to.
Washington takes a ball for a 1-1. So now Illinois Tech with a catching change here. What could be some of the differences with Kramer behind the plate as opposed to with Lucas Wine?
Kramer is a junior this year. Kramer has a very strong arm,
Okay.
so that could be part of the reason for the move, unless Lucas isn't feeling well or something. But likely a lot of stolen bases we saw last inning. Kramer has a little bit of an improved arm over Lucas Wan, so that could definitely go into being able to hold those runners a little bit better. That's what I would say.
You have to think that maybe strategy is a part of it, but also Juan's been taking a beating behind the plate, so I wouldn't be surprised if that also plays a part into it. We don't have an official word, but there's an official strikeout for Gorey as he catches Washington trying to catch up to the fastball.
Number 11, Braden Gorecki.
Good job by Gorey to get that first out here in the 5th inning. Only the second strikeout from the Aurora batters here in Game 2. Zarnecki struck out in the 3rd. Washington strikes out here. It'll be Braden Gorecki and Rook are actually the next 2 batters. They had the miscommunication in the field last time for the Aurora Spartans. Wrong team in the conference. So now here's Aurora at the plate.
Haven't played Dominican yet. I think the Spartans have. I believe they split with them, if I'm correct. You can double check that.
6-0 our score here as Aurora trying to add on to their lead against the Scarlet Hawks. And that's going to be strike 2 to Gorecki. Illinois Tech would love a clean inning here. Aurora actually has not played Dominican yet. They'll see him on April the 23rd out in Schaumburg, so that is coming up.
So neither team has faced Dominican.
It's now a 1-2 count to Gorecki. And Illinois Tech, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think they had him on the list this year. Or they will. They haven't played him yet. They'll play him in May. So that first week of May that we mentioned, they'll see him on May the 2nd. So yeah, you're right. Both teams getting late season matchups with the Dominican Stars.
I like that stadium they have out there.
Yeah, out in Schaumburg, Wintrust Stadium.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun place to play.
Starting the home of the Schaumburg Boomers. Now that ball is fouled away. Pretty good independent parks all around the area, actually. Wintrust Field, home of the Boomers.
Mm-hmm.
Impact Field, home of the Chicago Dogs out in Rosemont. And then Ozinger Field, which is the home of the Windy City Thunderbolts. A lot of independent parks in the area. Here we are at Ed Glancy Stadium. And John Gorey gets a strikeout for the home team as he's able to punch out Braden Gorecki.
A couple of strikeouts here for Gorey. Seems to be settling in nicely here to the 5th inning. Looking a little bit more like himself, getting the fastball by some bats. That's a curveball right there that just generated the strikeout. We talked about how we hadn't seen that much last inning.
And now here he's working against Rook. And an opportunity now for Gorey to try to strike out the side here as he's going up against the 9-hitter Rook. Rook is 1 for 2. He grounded out to short in the 2nd, and he singled and later scored in the 4th. And now a 1-1 count. Good pitch by Gorey on the outside corner. Able to catch Rook swinging there. Rook almost nodding his head in appreciation of that pitch from Gorey. Here's the 1-1.
Sometimes you just got to tip your cap.
Yeah, you got to. That was just a good pitch and a great location, good pitch. Couldn't catch up. Gorey couldn't follow it, however, and misses for the 2-1 count.
Drive yourself crazy as a hitter if you think you were supposed to hit every strike.
And there is Rook with the foul ball. A number of players say it's one of the better ways to approach the game. Maybe sometimes take the opponent out of it. Just how can you do your best when you step in the box or when you pitch to the plate? And that was a situation where Rook just had to, like you said, just had to tip his cap because just too good of a pitch to catch up. The 2-2. Fouled away. I say all that basically to say you got to love the mental aspect of this game sometimes. It's a 2-2 count. Gorey, with the sun starting to shine brightly over Ed Glancy Field here. As now Rook steps back into the box.
Yeah, sun just came beaming out through the clouds out of nowhere.
Right, it was overcast the majority of this ball game up until this moment now. And now Gorey gets the foul ball. 2-2. Spencer Rook continuing to be a pest in this at-bat, staying alive. Gorey trying to punch him out, get that 1-2-3 inning, and strike out the side. If he can't strike out the side, he still would like to get out number 3 here. And you get a ground ball up the middle. Rook gets it through. Good hit by Spencer Rook as he hit it right between the two middle infielders. Long run for both Bovee and Rocio. And as a result, the base hit for Rook.
Good AB there, able to fight off both the fastball and the curveball from Gorey with 2 strikes and rewarded. Able to put a good swing on a fastball and just hit it up the middle.
Rook did a great job, just stayed in there, took his cuts. And as a result, he ended up on first base, extending the inning for the Spartans. Lineup now turns over for Aurora with Hogato at the plate.
Good pitch there. Not going to get called on the 5-5 leadoff hitter for the Aurora Spartans.
So now Hogato with a 1-0 count. Gorey looks like he's just going to go right at Hogato, and for good reason. He's going to get the pop-up here. Let's see if Paxson makes the play. Actually, Bovee will take his place, and Bovee makes the play for the 3rd out of the inning. So Gorey doesn't get the 3 up, 3 down, but he does get out of the inning unscathed. 6-0 Aurora. Illinois Tech coming back to the box. After this, we'll be back with more here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network from Ed Glancy Field in Chicago. Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks coming back to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Matthew Bovee leading off. As Illinois Tech will go with the 6, 7, 8 hitters. It'll be Bovee, Kramer, and Old for Illinois Tech as they try to get the Scarlet Hawks on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Aurora Spartans. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning.
2 of those hits coming from Gutsfeld as well. You'd like to see the rest of the lineup get a little bit more involved here.
A pair of singles from Gutsfeld to this point of the game. He singled in the 1st, singled in the 4th, but unfortunately in the 4th got picked off leaning towards 3rd base after reaching 2nd via a wild pitch. Here's the delivery. And a strike on the outside corner. And just like that, Bovee quickly down 0-2 against Connor Hogan. Tom Kramer is on deck. He will be in the box for the first time today. He's replacing Lucas Wan, who started both games as a catcher for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. Kramer came in as a defensive sub and will finally get his first chance at offense following the final result of this Bovee at bat.
Catching both games of a doubleheader is very tough.
I believe it.
I used to have to do it pretty regularly, and it's a challenge. Especially like when you get beat up in game 1 like Lucas did, then game 2 is you're exhausted, and they've had some long innings that he's been. It's not bad if you're having 3 up, 3 down innings. You know, you're only facing 4 or 5 batters at a time. When you have a bunch of those innings that are 20, 25-minute innings, you get tired out there.
And there was an at bat in that first game where Juan had to block maybe 5 pitches, and he like you mentioned to me that he certainly took a beating. It felt like he got hit in different spots every time he was trying to field the ball.
Yeah, he's got to stay out there and do his best and watch 18 Aurora Spartans walk by as they cross the plate in game 1.
Here's Bovee, who strikes out on the outside corner, and Bovee just shook his head at that one. He couldn't believe that one hit the zone as Hogan gets Bovee looking. And now for the first time today, we'll see Tom Kramer step into the box for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks. This is Kramer's first at-bat in either game. He came in as a defensive replacement in the top of the 5th. Lucas Juan, who was hitting in the 7th spot originally, struck out looking his first time up in the 2nd. So let's see what Kramer can do with his first at-bat of the day.
Last time Kramer saw the batter's box for the Hawks was Friday against MSOE, and he came in as a replacement for Lucas in game 2 of that doubleheader. Went 2 for 3.
So let's see if he can keep that momentum going here. He's already got a 2-0. He's up 2-0 in the count. So the advantage to the Scarlet Hawks catcher. We're in the 32 jersey. Let's see if Illinois Tech, it just seems like whenever they've gotten something going in this second game, they've gotten in their own way. We saw Gutsfeld get the single in the first, and then they couldn't do anything with it. Then he got the single in the 4th, and he got picked off. So let's see if maybe Kramer with 1 out can at least keep the line moving and create something positive for an Illinois Tech team that desperately needs something here with only 3 hits. Kramer couldn't quite work the walk there as he takes strike 1.
Yeah, only 4 hits in game 1 as well. Only 3 hits here so far, so a real lack of offense. And obviously we want to recognize that the Aurora starters have a big part to do with that. Yes. Zimmerman and Hogan have been extraordinary thus far. We knew they were going to be extraordinary looking at their numbers, and they haven't disappointed.
Zimmerman with 6 innings in game 1. But now here's Hogan as he walks Kramer. So Illinois Tech with 1 away gets the catcher on for Timmy O. So Timmy O, the right fielder, he flew out to center his first time up back in the 3rd. Second try for Timmy Old, who came in as a reserve in game 1 and then, of course, got the start here in game 2 as he was able to replace the starter Tanner Jenkins from game 1. Hogan picks over the first. Not in time as Kramer is able to get dirty, but he gets back in safely.
Yeah, Tim hit that ball well his last AB. Just kind of hung up in the air, and the wind just didn't allow it to go anywhere. It was caught probably 20, 30 feet from the track.
Old fouls that one off. Slow roller over to the left side. He's going up here against Connor Hogan. Hogan's doing a good job with his pitches as well. Not as many strikeouts as Zimmerman in game 1. Zimmerman was able to strike out 12 for Aurora, but Hogan has 5 of his own here in game 2.
Yeah, of note, Kramer reaching on a walk. That is the 9th walk that Hogan has allowed in 54 innings of work this season. Very impressive. Doesn't give a lot of free passes.
Doing a good job of essentially not beating himself by giving those free passes. But he misses up and in for a 1-1 to Timmy Old. See what Timmy's looking for here when he gets into the box. Kramer taking that lead off of first. The pitch to Old is a strike, 1-2. Connor Hogan, long glare over there at Tony Kramer prior to him taking his lead. And then once he gets the lead, here comes the long look. And now the delivery. Old will foul this one off to the right side. That'll go to the Illinois Tech bullpen. Remains a 1-2 count for Timmy Old. Connor Hogan. It seems like, much as we saw at Zimmerman in game one, just seems composed. Looking to mow down the Scarlet Hawks. That misses to Timmy Old, and it'll make it a 2-2 count.
Good AB here by Tim. Trying to rack up Hogan's pitch count here. You want to see that Aurora bullpen.
Oh, takes strike 3. That one paints the corner. And now the second out of the inning is Old, much like Bovee, goes down looking. And that'll bring up Mario Riccio to the plate. Riccio 0 for 1 here in game 2. Grounded out to second and is only at back in the third. The pick over to first as Kramer is back in safely. And he trips up the first baseman, Kyle Mack. Looks like everybody's okay over there at first. Let's see if Illinois Tech, with 2 outs, so if they have anything in those bats here, to at least get one across in the 5th. Ball in the dirt. Misses from Hogan. And it's a 1-0 count.
You know, something that I find interesting about both of these Aurora lefties, Hogan and Zimmerman, is neither of them are throwing 90 to 92 or have super elite breaking balls, but both of them can throw a good fastball, command it to both sides of the plate, can get their off speed in the zone on command, and are just very crafty, very well seasoned pitchers, able to mix up timings and mix up locations.
Yeah.
Generates a lot of swing and miss.
Command, composure, and craftiness certainly on display from both starters today. Especially like Zimmerman, the way he was controlling the right side of the plate just made it tough for Illinois Tech, who had a number of lefties in that lineup in game 1.
Yeah, and his strikeout numbers are off the chart. Hogan's impressive, but not nearly as impressive as Zimmerman's. But like I said, Hogan has a bit of a better ERA, a better whip, so he's been able to keep guys off the bases a little bit more.
And here's a chopper over to third. That's going to be an easy play. And they throw him out over at first to retire the side. So the Aurora Spartans with Connor Hogan, he gets out of the inning. They'll head to the 6th with a 6-0 advantage. Spartans thoroughly in control of this one here in game 2 from Ed Glancy Field in Chicago. We'll be back with more after this. Ed Glancy Field in Chicago, Illinois. Here with partner David Cooper. I'm Chris Rouse. Illinois Tech down 6-0 at the hands of the Aurora Spartans. Illinois Tech going to their 3rd pitcher of game 2, David, and it will be Phil Trojanowski, number 19, taking the bump for the Scarlet Hawks.
Yeah, Phil will get on the mound here today.
Now batting number 26.
Phil, last year, as a freshman, a staple in the Illinois Tech bullpen, has had a rocky sophomore year up to this point. Getting an opportunity here to hold down the fort for the Scarlet Hawks, and with Phil coming in, that will wrap up John Gorey's day, who came in for Alex Garcia at the beginning.
And now Trojanowski facing Lukancic, gets a ground ball, and Lukancic hits it right past Bovey in the left field. So another base hit for Lukancic, who is certainly loving his trip to Chicago today.
Yeah, to kind of finish that thought, that Gorey will exit with 2 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 4 hits, and 2 earned runs. So that's on top of Gary's 3 innings, 1 strikeout, 1 walk, 7 hits, and 4 earned runs.
And then Trojanowski, as a reward for coming in, he gets to face the 2, 3, 4 hitters of this Aurora lineup. He already saw Lukancic get a base hit. Now he'll see Curcio, who has been a tough out all day long in both games. He's reached base safely 8 times in 9 at-bats in the 2 games combined. Curcio takes a pitch outside, 2-0.
Yeah, he came into today, Curcio, with a 1 OPS. Usually if you hear about that in the MLB and, guys will say like, oh, they're 1-dotting it. That's very good.
Yes,
that's
it
very
is.
good. And going, let's see, what did you say it was today?
He's reached 8 out of 9 times today.
8 out of 9 times today, and then 4 for 4 when you look at or 4 for 5 when you look at the actual ABs. So I think that 1 dot got a little bit higher today.
Now he's going to try to add to it, and with a 3-1 count, maybe on his way to doing just that. The only out Curcio has had today was in the first inning of this game. He flew out to Gutsfield for out number 2 back in the first inning. Other than that, has been unable to be retired by the Scarlet Hawks at the plate. Curcio maybe got a piece of that one. It will be a strike 2 as he swings. I'm not sure if it's a foul ball or whatever, but it's strike 2 nonetheless.
Didn't get a foul signal, but Kramer didn't catch it cleanly and sure reacted like there was got a piece of it. Nothing hurt either way.
All right, 3-2 for Curcio as Trojanowski gets ready to deliver it to the plate. Actually goes over for the pickoff of Lukancic, and Lukancic back in safely. Good job by Lukancic, another player who's been pretty tough to get out for Illinois Tech, although they've done a better job. Actually, I was going to say they've done a better job. He's been on safely all 4 times in this game. They did get him out twice in game 1, and now he goes. But he's going because it's 3-2, and the runner advances, as will Curcio on the walk.
Now batting number 28, Kyle Mack.
Got to bring Kyle Mack to the plate. Mack, to this point of the game, he flew out to left. He had a sacrifice fly to center in the 3rd, and he had a fielder's choice earlier in the 4th. That fielder's choice was actually where Lukancic tried to round 3rd, and his momentum didn't stop him. Like, he just couldn't stop his momentum, and as a result, Bovey tagged him out. And nice pitch from Trojanowski right down the middle. Sort of froze Kyle Mack as he got that one over the zone. The 0-1. Runners on first and second. Nobody out for Trojanowski. Here's the delivery. That one misses and hits Mack inside. Next, maybe caught him in the abdomen area. But Mack appears to be okay. He'll advance over first. So Kyle Mack, via the hit by pitch, will load the bases up for the Spartans. This will bring up Nick Zarnecki with a bases loaded opportunity, looking to extend this lead for the Spartans. Meeting of the minds here with Kramer and Trojanowski. I know you mentioned how Trojanowski sort of struggled here in this second season compared to his first year. You think maybe that's other teams having more tape on him or maybe being more familiar with some of his pitches?
You just see it sometimes with guys that perform well on the mound freshman years. There's some sort of regression sophomore year, and I don't know if it's a mechanical thing or if it's a mental thing where you're like, oh, now I got to be that guy as a sophomore.
He gets the ground ball to second. Zarnecki grounds into the 4-6-3. So Illinois Tech gets the double play. The runner scores. but Illinois Tech able to get 2 outs in the inning via the twin killing. Mack was the player retired as Curcio now sends the third. Lukancic comes in to score. 7-0 Aurora. Now Trojanowski will face Logan Riley.
But yeah, to finish that thought, I'm not sure. I've seen it a couple times here at Illinois Tech where freshmen struggle to find their footing. Freshmen that did well their freshman year struggle to find their footing their sophomore year. I wasn't good my freshman year, and I was marginally better my sophomore year, so I can't speak to being a great freshman and then not having as good of a sophomore campaign because my freshman year was abysmal.
It's all a part of the learning process moving forward. As now there's one hit right back up the box at Trojanowski. That'll score Curcio easily. And Logan Riley able to bring another one in. That makes it 8-0 Aurora. And the Spartans just continue to pour it on. 18-3 game 1 win. They lead 8-0 here in game 2. Curcio scoring for the second time in game 2. Curcio today has scored 6 times for Aurora. Scored 4 in game 1. He scored twice now in this one. Matthew Washington in the box.
Coming into today, he had 26 runs scored on the season, and he scored 6 alone in just this doubleheader so far.
Certainly a day to be had. Certainly a day to remember for Dominic Curcio. So now Matthew Washington chops one foul. 1 ball, 1 strike to the second baseman of the Spartans.
The only guy that he is trailing in total runs coming into today, obviously, is, you know who it is?
Lukancic.
Yeah.
It's Lukancic. Lukancic.
Joe Lukancic, 33 coming into today, and he scored how many times?
6 times as well.
6 times as well.
Now here's Matthew Washington hitting one to right field. Timmy Old tracking underneath it, makes the play, and that will retire the side, but Aurora adds to their lead. It's now 8-0 Spartans. Illinois Tech starting to run out of time here at Ed Glancy Field. Let's see how the Scarlet Hawks will retaliate when they come back to the plate in the bottom of the 6th. The top of the order up for the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks as they take the plate here in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Michael Paxson, Tyler Gutsfeld, and Luke Yachman batting for the Scarlet Hawks. Paxson in game 2, 0 for 2 today with ground outs to the left side of the infield. He grounded out to third in the first. He grounded out to short in the third. But Paxson also homered in game 1 for his 4th homer of the season. And he gets under one here and sends it foul. Could be the guy to at least get something on the board for Illinois Tech. He's already proven that today where he had the long ball to right field earlier. But Connor Hogan in command of the zone. Command, composure, and craftiness. We mentioned that earlier from the starters of Aurora Hogan no exception to the performance we saw from Justin Zimmerman.
Right, and they've obviously had big leads at times, so we have never seen them feel just about any pressure from the Scarlet Hawks. Even in moments where the bases are loaded, you don't see Hogan or Zimmerman out there.
And for Aurora, the way both pitchers have done it, Zimmerman was more of the strikeout guy in Game 1. Hogan has been a pitch-to-contact pitcher and has let his defense work for him here in Game 2. But don't be fooled. He has strikeouts of his own as well.
Just 6 of them.
He got 6 as well. Zimmerman had 12, so clearly half of that. But
a ton of weak contact.
And now Paxton swings and misses here. And it looks like he will be strikeout victim number 7 from Hogan.
That's Paxton's 4th strikeout of the day.
Number 5, Tyler Gutsfeld.
Besides that home run, he's been quiet.
Here's Tyler Gutsfeld. And Gutsfeld actually struggled in Game 1. He hasn't struggled at all here in Game 2. He's 2 for 2. But obviously nothing on the board for Illinois Tech. Gutsfeld was picked off after his last single. And this one would just be a routine pop-up to the third baseman. And an easy play for Gorecki for out number 2. Luke Yaknin at the plate.
Number 3, Luke Yaknin.
It seems like Illinois Tech here at this point, they're just trying to make something happen, just trying to make some kind of quality contact that can fire up that dugout or at least give them some belief that maybe they can move the line. But Hogan has shut them down here in Game 2.
Yeah, I'd be curious to talk to these guys about Hogan because they're getting their swings off in counts, in hitters' counts, and they're attacking pitches that are over the zone and just not coming up with good contact basically whatsoever. So I'd be curious to pick the brain of some of the guys after and, just ask them, like, what did you see with Hogan? Why are we not barreling this guy up? I mean, obviously nobody around the neck is, but.
Right. and it appeared that Gutsfeld actually had done something. Like, he made contact, but he just got underneath it for that last out.
Yeah, I missed that last one.
And now here's the 1-2 for Yaknin. And that one just misses. That was going to be a very quick inning had it not missed, but now it's a 2-2 count to Yaknin. Yaknin 0 for 2 here in Game 2. Flew out to center in the first. He struck out looking in the 4th. Now he struck out swinging in the 6th. As that'll be 3 up, 3 down for Hogan. That's now 8 strikeouts for Connor Hogan. That's a total of 20 strikeouts from the Aurora pitchers today. As Hogan works through the 6th. On to the 7th inning. Spartans lead at 8-0 when we return to Ed Glancy Field here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Top of the 7th here at Ed Glancy Field. Aurora up 8-0. If you're just joining us, this is Game 2 of our doubleheader between the Scarlet Hawks and the Spartans. In Game 1, Aurora defeated Illinois Tech 18-3. Here in Game 2, they lead at 8-0. It's just under early termination rules, but if Aurora is able to get 2, and if that leaves, it will certainly help the cause. Well hit ball from Gorecki. That is gone. His 2nd home run of the game. Gurecki homered back in the 4th. He homers again here in the 7th. 9-0 Aurora Spartans, his 5th of the season.
Big day for the third baseman. Gurecki comes into today batting right around that 200 mark with only a couple of bombs, and add 2 more to that total. Both of his home runs today, by the way, we've talked about that short porch. Both of them are way gone. That one was way farther than the second one.
Right, the first one, as now Rook comes in and he hits the ball in the right field. Timmy Old will camp underneath this for the out. I was going to say, Gurecki, when he hit that first homer, I thought maybe it would stay in the park. It carried, the wind carried that one out. There was no doubt about this one. That was certainly going with how hard he hit that last home run.
Yeah, you called it midstream. You were mid-thought, and then you said, well, that one might leave. And that one was already halfway out.
Aurora with a 9-0 advantage. Rook flies out in quick order. As now here comes Holgado. Holgado fouls it right back to us here at the net. And 0-1 to Jaden Holgado, who's actually been relatively quiet in Game 2 as opposed to what he did in Game 1. He's flown out to the shortstop Bovey twice here in Game 2. Also drew a walk back in the 4th inning. And now Holgado lays down a bunt. Trojanowski scoops it up to throw the first in time for out number 2. As Illinois Tech
Now batting number 26.
able to get 2 quick outs, but now it'll be Lukancic coming to the plate for the Spartans. And Lukancic has had a great day. He scored 6 times today, much the same as Dominic Curcio, who's on deck.
3 for 3 in this one so far with 3 singles. Also had a couple singles in the first game as well. Both of them bunt singles. 2 singles and a double for him last time. Haven't seen him lay down a bunt this game so far.
And he won't lay one down there as that misses outside from Trojanowski, 1-0. And you've talked about that batting stance from Lukancic all game long, how he leans over the plate. Sort of reminds me.
So unique.
It sort of reminds me of Jeff Bagwell, but now he's standing straight up here, very bit Gary Sheffield style.
Yeah, he makes the adjustment to put his hands farther over the plate and bends over more when he's in 2 strikes, I think. I think if we see him get to 2 strikes, he'll go back to that other stance that we were discussing.
So the 1-1 count to Joe Lukancic. And let's see, Lukancic goes back to the high stance with Trojanowski's delivery coming. And Lukancic swings and misses. And let's see, there's the moment of truth with the batting stance. I'm sure Trojanowski would love to get this out, get the Scarlet Hawks to the plate here in the home 7. And here is the stance over the plate. I think maybe that's just to give him a better eye of the zone as he gets closer to with the 2-strike count.
I don't know how much closer he can get his eyes to the zone. It's maybe 6 inches directly above the strike zone. Toes right over the line in the batter's box.
The 2-2, and Lukancic hits it out to left. Yaknin had to backpedal a little bit, but he still made the play for the 3rd out. Aurora adds 1 in the 7th. The lead is 9-0 Spartans. Time to stretch here at Ed Glancy Field. We'll be back with more here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 7th. as Illinois Tech gets ready to come back to the plate. And now Phillip Bench will come to the plate, the designated hitter for the Scarlet Hawks. He's 1 for 2 here in game 2. He grounded out to short in the first. Then he singled in the fourth. He'll come back to the plate here in the 7th. 4, 5, 6 coming up for Illinois Tech with Bench, Wilkes, and Bovee. As they try to solve the answer, they finally try to solve the problem and find the answers against Connor Hogan.
Not a lot so far. I mentioned it a couple times. Guts has 2 hits, and Philly B has the other one on an infield single. And that's it.
Let's see what Bench can do here as he gets underneath this one into right center field. That's going all the way back to the fence. Lukansic gets there again, and an easy out for the first out of the bottom of the 7th.
Batting number 46, Jonah Wilkes.
So now Jonah Wilkes will come to the plate. Wilkes 0 for 2 today, struck out looking, and he flew out to right field as well. So let's see if Wilkes can at least change his fortunes with this at-bat in the bottom of the 7th. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Illinois Tech. Wilkes gets underneath this one, and this is almost the same as the last at-bat, except the other part of the field to left center field for the out. This time it's the center fielder who puts it away, and that's a good play by Curcio.
Number 33, Matthew Bovee.
5-9, F9, F8 for Illinois Tech so far. And Bovee going to try to at least do something positive here, as he'll go up against Connor Hogan. Strike 1 on the outside corner as Hogan does a good job of dotting that outside corner. If the lineup is to continue to move for Illinois Tech, it'll be Tom Kramer, the catcher, on deck. Meanwhile, Bovee hits a chopper foul to the first base side, and it's already 0-2. Bovee, in his at-bats here in game 2, they've been very quick. It'll be quick strikeouts, or it's like he fouls off the first pitch or the second, and then that third pitch, third or fourth, is where he usually goes now.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen if you're just not seeing the ball well.
Fouls that one right back to us here at the netting.
It's a good swing there, though.
We've seen that a few times with Illinois Tech, those swings that either they're just late or they're off to the left, off to the right.
Yeah, a lot of under the ball, too. Seen a lot of high pop flies from them today.
And there's another one from Bovee. That one may get out of play, however, heading towards the Illinois Tech bullpen. And Bovee will stay alive for at least one more pitch. The 2 outs in this inning were perfect examples of what you described. High fly balls. We saw Bench fly out to right. We saw Wilkes fly out to left center. And let's see if Bovee can avoid flying out to left, if not avoiding it at all. He'll ground out to first, and that'll be an easy play by Mack. 3 up, 3 down. Quick work for the Aurora Spartans. They lead at 9-0 here at Ed Glancy Field. Early termination rule not a factor in this one, so we'll head to the top of the 8th with the Aurora Spartans leading 9-0 here on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network. Top of the 8th, the Aurora Spartans lead at 9-0. Here with David Cooper, I'm Chris Rouse. And David, what's your assessment of this game so far with Aurora leading at 9-0 here at the top of the 8th?
Well, it's basically the same story as the last game. Illinois Tech pitching hasn't had an answer of how to get Curcio and a couple other Aurora Spartans at the top of the order out, and haven't gotten anything going against the Aurora starting pitching so far.
Curcio and Lukancic have certainly been all over the place offensively for Aurora, but in game 2, it's been this sudden surprise of Braden Gorecki with a couple of homers. Now Curcio hits one to right field, about the same spot, and the Aurora Spartans are loving right field at Ed Glancy Field. That's their 3rd homer of the game, all of them to right field. Curcio goes yard for the first time today.
That'll be his 5th home run on the season. We talked about it early when he first came up in game 1, how he has good home run numbers. Haven't seen a ton of power from him today, a ton of singles. Got a hold of that one.
Curcio at the plate today is 9 for 10 in this ball game. He's done a great job, where he's reached base 9 out of 10 plate appearances today. Reached safely. As now Aurora up 10-0. Actually, that does put the early termination rule back into play, which, once again, they won game 1 18-3. They lead here in game 2 10-0. Curcio, the only time he was retired was in the first inning of this game when he flew out to center field. So in 11 at-bats, or 11 appearances, he's reached 10 times. He was safe all 6 in game 1. Trojanowski gets a strike here to Kyle Mack for a 1-2. Spartans certainly pouring it on here. If the results were to hold, they will have outscored the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks 28-3 in these 2 games. Illinois Tech obviously will get a chance to hit in the bottom of the 8th. Mack gets underneath one, pops it up into shallow center field. They got 4 Scarlet Hawks converging on the ball, and it's Ricio who makes the play.
Now batting number 7, Nick Zarnecki.
Nick Zarnecki, the designated hitter, coming to the plate. Did not play in game 1. And here in game 2, he's 0 for 4. He flew out, he popped out to third, he struck out looking, he flew out to left, and he hit into a double play.
Only starting Spartan still chasing his first knock of the game.
See if we can get it here against Trojanowski. And Trojanowski misses for a ball.
Does have an RBI. Got an RBI his last AB when he grounded into the double play.
Aurora has action in their bullpen, so likely going to see a new pitcher in the bottom of the 8th, which once again, with the score being 10-0, would be early termination, so would be the reason for Aurora to probably change arms at this point of the game. Here's Trojanowski. That one in the dirt as he gets away from Kramer. Just a rough day here at Glancy Field for the home team. But Illinois Tech will be back at home Saturday to take on the St. Norbert Green Knights. That will be senior day. Both of those games scheduled for noon and 3 p.m. starts. And then Illinois Tech will be home one more time when they take on the Concordia University of Chicago Cougars right here for their final set, their final doubleheader set of the season in late April. Illinois Tech's regular season schedule ends May 2nd against Dominican. But still 2 more doubleheaders before this season wraps. And then, of course, Monday, April 21st, not too far from here at 35th Street at Rate Field, Illinois Tech versus the University of Chicago Maroons Monday. As now Trojanowski walks Zarnecki.
Now batting number 12, Logan Riley.
Logan Riley will come to the plate. Riley's 2 for 4 today. Single and a double for Riley, but also a pop out to first and a ground out to the pitcher. 10 runs, 14 hits, no errors for the Aurora Spartans. Good pitch by Trojanowski as he gets the strike to Logan Riley. Riley started both games at catcher for the Spartans, but he set out the last 2 innings in game 1 when Aurora starts to go to their reserves, and they brought in Brody Mack to play catcher. Trojanowski bounces one to Kramer. Good stop by Kramer. So we get another one of those interesting just beams of sunshine over the field. Sometimes I wonder if that affects pitchers because you're facing directly into the sun here.
I don't think it affects the pitchers too much just because of the angle. It does affect the right fielder. If you look out in right, you'll see Timmy Old shading his eyes, even though he's wearing sunglasses, because the sun is so bright at this angle as it's setting down over the third base dugout, essentially. It's right in his eyes.
Right, this field, Ed Glancy Field, essentially faces west. So when you get to this type of time of day, that sun can become an issue. As that was a hit by pitch to Riley. And so now runners on first and second. Zarnecki on second. Riley at first. This is Matthew Washington at the plate, the second baseman. Washington's had an up and down day, really struggled to reach base up until he hit a double in game 1. Here in game 2, he's walked. But other than that, 0 for 3, grounded out to second. He struck out, and then he flew out to right. Washington hits a chopper back to Trojanowski. Wilkes actually to scoop it up. Good job by Trojanowski, showing off that PFP, hustling over to first base.
Now batting number 11, Braden Gorecki.
So now here's Gorecki, and Gorecki has 2 home runs in this game today. He's 3 for 4 in game 2. He singled back in the second. He homered in the 4th. He homered again in the 7th. The 1 was the strikeout in the 5th.
It's a stark contrast from a hitless game 1 of this set.
Right, and you and I are in between games. We mentioned how Illinois Tech had done a great job with the bottom of the lineup for Aurora. Not the case here in game 2, as both Gorecki and Rook have come up big in game 2, and almost another homer for Gorecki.
Bit foul, just out in front of that one. Seeing the ball well right now.
And big pop off the bat. The last 2 times he's made contact.
With that swing, tells me he's looking for another one.
Let's see how Trojanowski and Kramer adjust. This guy has sort of had the Illinois Tech pitching number lately. Gorecki gets underneath that one. He'll pop it shortly to Riccio, and that will end the 8th inning. Common pop out to easy pop out to second for Riccio to retire the side. Illinois Tech coming to the bat one last time here if they can't get on the board. It's 10-0 Aurora. Let's see if the Scarlet Hawks can avoid the early termination if they can just get on the board one time here at the bottom of the 8th. Back at Ed Glancy Field in Chicago. Here with David Cooper, I'm Chris Rouse. And David, we thought maybe we would see Aurora change pitchers, but Connor Hogan is actually back out here for the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah, he's looked great. Only 3 hits to this point. Why not? They still have a little bit of activity in the bullpen, some light throwing, but nothing urgent.
Yeah, Hogan to this point of the game has been out there the entire way. He's only given up the 3 hits, and he has the shutout, so could we get one for the complete game here as Illinois Tech, remember, they need at least 1 run to force a 9th inning. Tom Kramer, Timmy Old, and Mario Riccio will be the 3 to come to the plate for Illinois Tech. Kramer drew a walk in his only plate appearance thus far, his only at bat, Remember, he came in as a reserve for Lucas Wan. Wan came in and struck out looking back in the second. Kramer came to the plate in the fifth. Here's the delivery to Kramer. Kramer fouls it off to the right side.
My guess is that they're going to go to the pen if Illinois Tech can get to the top of their order here. They're going to let Hogan have Kramer, Old, and Resio. You got a righty and a lefty down there, so that could be a little bit of Paxson Guts platoon right-left matchup.
Hogan gets the strike here. Through 7 innings of work, 7+ innings of work, Hogan has now thrown 95 pitches. He's only allowed 3 hits, no runs. He struck out 8, and he's only walked 1. Kramer hits one a second. Washington has to hop to make the play. He makes the throw as well and gets the first out of the 8th inning. Now remember, 10-0 lead for Aurora. This is essentially the 9th inning unless the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks are able to score within these next 2 outs. Timmy Old is the 8-hitter and Mario Riccio is the 9-hitter. Those could be the last 2 chances that we see for Illinois Tech at the plate today.
We're in the 8th inning here, and this is only Timmy's 3rd AB.
Timmy Old today 0 for 2. He flew out to center. Back in the 3rd, he struck out looking back in the 5th. That was sort of where Hogan gained his command of his pitches, where that stretch where he struck out Old and he struck out Bovey, he struck out Paxson and Yaknin. I think he had 4 out of his 7 or 8 batters faced. He struck them out. And that really helped just pretty much put the nail in the coffin for the Scarlet Hawks, because at that point, the lead was extended to 6 for Aurora. Timmy Old pops it up.
He had another stretch like that in the 2nd where he struck out the side between Wilkes, Bovey, and Juan at the time.
And right now, Illinois Tech just trying to get on the board here in game 2. Old takes one on, actually takes another strikeout. That's the 2nd time today Timmy Old has gone down looking, and that's actually the same facial expression he had the first time. He thought it was relatively close on the inside the first time. This one on the outside for out number 2. Well, Mario Riccio stands as the last hope for Illinois Tech here in game 2. He is 0 for 2 to this point of the game with ground outs to 2nd and 3rd. He grounded out to 2nd in the 3rd inning. He grounded out to 3rd in the 5th. Connor Hogan looking for a shutout here of the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks, and now a 1-1 count. 10 runs, 14 hits, no errors for Aurora. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Illinois Tech. There's a hit up the middle, but it goes right to Washington, and that wraps it up. A liner to the second baseman ends the day with a golden out. And what a golden day for the Aurora Spartans. They win game 2 by a score of 10-0. They outscore Illinois Tech a combined total of 28-3 in both games. And monster home runs from Braden Gorecki certainly made the difference here in game 2, David.
Yeah, with the sweep of the Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks, Aurora will improve to 11-5 in the NAC and 16-13 overall. Illinois Tech will drop to 6-8 in the NAC and 10-18 overall. Ultimately, as we know, we've been preaching it, Hogan will get the win today, and Alejandro Garcia will take the loss. Illinois Tech never able to come back.
Illinois Tech just had a hard time getting the rhythm going here at Ed Glancy Field, and that actually just unfortunate for the Scarlet Hawks, who will have 2 more tries at home, including Saturday when they take on the St. Norbert Green Knights. But just a tough loss today. Final words on today's game, David.
It was an impressive performance from both of the starting pitchers on the Aurora side as well as the Aurora offense. Illinois Tech didn't really have an answer for them on either side of the baseball. And some days you're going to have games like that. Illinois Tech now down 2 games below 500 in the NAC. They're not out of it quite yet. They got a lot of teams left to play. So stay tuned as they try and squeak into a playoff spot.
And the next time we will see you will be on Saturday, April the 19th. Scarlet Hawks have senior day as they take on the St. Norbert Green Knights. And that will wrap it up for us here at Ed Glancy Field, where the Aurora Spartans really just owned the day. They won game 1 18-3. They won game 2 10-0, outscoring the Scarlet Hawks 28-3 in both games today at Ed Glancy Field. For David Cooper and Eric Willowhite and all of our crew here at Ed Glancy Field, I'm Chris Rouse. You've been watching Illinois Tech Scarlet Hawks baseball on the Scarlet Hawks Broadcast Network and on YouTube Live. Until Saturday, until next time, so long, have a good day from Chicago, Illinois.